Today on Drawbli,
Ben is drawing this guy.
click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve as artists.
And of course, share your work online with the hashtag Drawbli.
Drawbli.
Yes, Abby and I have been on a portrait drawing kick for a long time.
A long time.
And that is because of the recent course that we went through, Ahmed Al-Dori's Meds Map course, which we're pretty much all the way through at this point. I would say with confidence we've gone through like 90% of it.
Have you thought about just restarting it?
I mean, there would be a lot of good things that you would pick up by doing that. I think that would probably be best done later after spending some time actually working and putting in the hours of improvement.
I agree.
But I would like to say that because we're kind of here at mostly the end of the course, that I would highly recommend it. I think Ahmed is a really fantastic teacher. It's really hard to find someone that is a really good artist that you look up to and are inspired by their art and you want to learn from, and they also happen to be a good teacher. That's very rare.
Yeah, it's not a given. Good artists do not equal necessarily good teachers, but in the case of Ahmed Al-Dori, he has a lot of experience teaching already in the art field, and he of course put together an amazing course.
Okay, so that's enough tooting Ahmed's horn. So I wanted to talk about this portrait here, because we've been doing a lot of portraits, and I feel like I have leveled up in my portraits a lot lately, but I did try to branch out from portraits this week, and I tried to begin doing a little environmental piece. Here it is. I'll put it up on screen.
Whoa!
You can't see it because I don't have it pulled up for us right now, of course. But they don't know that.
Oh my gosh.
So I started to do this environmental piece, and then I was just like, no, I don't like this. I'm gonna move back to doing a portrait, hence this guy here. So I don't know. I do really enjoy working on portraits a lot more than working on environment pieces, but I do want to get back into kind of the energy of early Drawbli, where we worked on a lot of different stuff, and we didn't necessarily do portraits all the time.
We did not.
One thing I would really like to do lately, and something that I'm going to talk about here in an upcoming video very soon, in a little more detail, is a little bit of a new course that I've been looking at getting and jumping into. Something that's pretty different than what we've done up to this point.
Okay. What are you hoping to learn from this course?
I really want to focus more specifically on drawing. The more that we've done Drawbli and done all this practice, the more I have realized that my drawing feels like my weakest point right now.
And by that I presume you mean your line work.
Not just line work, but drawing and painting are ostensibly the same thing. I want to get better at all the basics of drawing. So working with perspective, of course, working with your line quality and line weight, like you mentioned, as well as just like creating better shapes and having more confident lines and being able to work faster and just getting better at all aspects of drawing. All the beginning phases of drawing. Like the face that I have here on screen, the proportions, the style, everything with the shapes is dictated based on the drawing that I made very early on. So the painting is obviously, going to be hugely affected by that drawing. Like most of this that you're looking at is the drawing.
Right. Well, and again though, by drawing, do you mean the line work?
No, I mean all the things that I just said.
Okay.
All those different aspects. So I, through this course, which is a course by Andrew Cockroach at Andrew Cockroach, which is a very different style. It's in more anime style, very simplified. But one of the first assignments that I've created for myself for going through this course is a really big style study in terms of the basic shapes that he creates for his proportions. So you love gesture drawings, right?
I do.
I do not like gesture drawings. I'm not a huge fan of drawing these full figures. But with this kind of simplified armature that I'm going to create, I'm going to try to draw that in perspective from a lot of different angles and try to capture the three-dimensionality of these simplified forms.
I love that.
So that's going to work on all those fundamentals of drawing. Of course, working on perspective, of course, working on that, line weight, all that good stuff, to try to get that to a really good spot. And just practice those early stages as much as possible. That's kind of what I've been doing a little bit more with my painting lately as well.
Oh, yes, focusing on the early stages and trying to get those to the highest level before advancing on.
Yeah, this, for example, this painting that I'm working on right now, I really like where it is at this stage. It's got some really cool stylized stuff going on where the proportions aren't hugely far off from the original, but just enough to make it my own, make it, a little more cartoony, and it's got some cool aesthetics choices, like the really dark Terminator line for the section between the light and shadow, which is very clear and distinct.
I enjoy the gradients you added early on, as well as, yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a nice workflow habit that you've really adhered to a lot lately. And I enjoy the coloring you've chosen for your shadow.
Yes, trying to practice getting a little more differentiation between warms and cools, which is also something else that I'm focusing on right now. I'm focusing on a lot of stuff, trying to improve a lot of stuff for Drawbli. Is there anything in particular that you're focusing on right now, Abby?
Perspective, form, trying to add dimension to my drawings, trying not to allow them to be too flat.
Yeah, for sure. This guy feels real flat.
Oh, I didn't mean your guy was flat. I don't think he feels this
I know
way.
you didn't mean that, but I'm saying I think that he still feels flat.
I see what you mean. Yeah, adding form, adding dimension. I personally have been trying to navigate how I feel about the limitation on the size of the iPad recently.
Oh.
I believe strongly, and most artists will tell you the same, at least with traditional art, a lot of confident line work and good flowing line work depends on the ability to draw with your arm versus your wrist. And that's why I've been trying to get back into a little bit into using the sketchboard, that giant board you can place the iPad into.
The Abby Board Pro, as we know it.
Yes, because it allows you to push towards moving your whole arm to draw. But again, I'm still just right now, just last week. I wouldn't say permanently, and I wouldn't say necessarily always in the past, but this week I've just felt a little bit limited by the dimensions of the iPad itself. I feel like, I'm always working on a sketchbook that's always the same size. Whether I'm zoomed in or zoomed out, I want to sweep my whole arm around. I want to do big motions. And the iPad is saying, well, you only have this much
So
space.
do you feel like the Abby Board Pro helps you in that area a lot?
It does. It allows you to kind of back up and sweep your whole arm a bit more, which is great. It doesn't necessarily fix, any flaws in your fundamentals naturally. If you already still have some flaws in your fundamentals, it's not going to eliminate those. Nor does necessarily being able to sweep the arm make you a greater, better artist even.
Yeah, look at Zeronis, who draws with his finger.
Exactly. But yeah, that's something I've been struggling with this week and just been thinking about.
Just been thinking about it, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do we need to get ourselves another Abby Board Pro?
I don't think so.
No, I actually don't use it very often. I love the portability of the iPad too much to take the Sketchboard Pro with me to a coffee shop or something.
It's better for home use. We tried it in a cafe once or twice, and it just feels like way too big in that setting. It is way
too big in that setting. It feels like you're showing off a little too.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that person doing?
Yeah, you want to be I feel like I want to be a lot better at drawing to use it in public. Just be have people look over my shoulder, oh my gosh, she's drawing for Blizzard or Epic Games or something. But
for
that
Epic
is not
Blizzard
the case.
Games.
But yeah, that's my focus this week is how do I overcome the size of the iPad and still get the sweep in there that I want, because that's how I get away from short, chalky lines into sweeping gestures.
Of course. And the question on everybody's mind, Abby, what tea did you choose for this recording of Drawbli?
I chose
You have to-
blueberry
you have to read.
pomegranate acai.
And I chose Earl Grey. I was just curious.
Yeah, great question.
And if you have a great question, click that subscribe button.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve.
Share your work online with the hashtag Drawbli, and this is the part where we say
Goodbye.
Boomba.
Oh no, Ben, I lied about what kind of tea I have.
And what kind of tea do you have?
Senna chamomile.
Wow, and you thought it was blueberry?
No, I just didn't want to say.